Hello, good evening. This is Weekend File on the NTA, and we are live in Abuja. One of the crucial requirements to fast-track development in all key sectors is contingent on availability of good road infrastructure. In fact, as the saying goes, the road leads to development. Now, since pre-independence Nigeria and the time the country gained nationhood, monumental investments have continued to be made towards creating a flourishing social and economic linkages. However, over the years, dependence on budgetary provisions provided towards funding infrastructure continue to create gaps, leading to contractors not meeting project timelines and sometimes abandoning them. It is in the face of these challenges and vision of surmounting the odds that government in its wisdom came up with several initiatives to address gaps while also ensuring adequate flow of funding and efficient utilization to do more. For instance, the Presidential Executive Order number 7 of 2019, which is on Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme, has been described as greatest innovation in tackling Nigeria's infrastructure deficit in areas of construction, refurbishment and maintenance using the public-private sector partnership. So, Weekend File this week looks at how this initiative is working, what are the challenges and prospects. We do have updates from zones, and our guest is Iro Obai, Director Technical, Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. I am Kene Ima Abodike. Welcome. The Ekiti State Agro-Allied International Cargo and Passenger Airport in Ado-Ekiti has been inaugurated. The Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, who inaugurated the project, says the airport will not only enhance transportation, but create job opportunities and fast-track economic growth of the state. Kola Adebobui reports.
The aircraft with registration number NAF 930 touched down at exactly 9:20 in the morning for first test landing at the Ekiti State Airport with 3.2-kilometer runway for the inauguration. The inauguration of the airport, however, comes a day to the expiration of Governor Kayode Fayemi's tenure. The aviation minister, Senator Hadi Sirika, who observed that 35% of the world economy is moved by air transportation, noted that the Ekiti State Airport will promote tourism in the state.
Airports are the best catalyst for economic growth and development of any nation.
The outgoing governor of the state, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, said the project was initiated to enhance economic and transportation development.
A Boeing 747-400 can land comfortably in this airport.
The outgoing governor has, however, been given a befitting pull-out ceremony from the government house at Ado-Ekiti after 4 years in office as third civilian governor of the 26-year-old homogeneous state, ahead of the inauguration of the new governor, Biodun Oyebanji, in Ado-Ekiti. Kola Adebobui, NTA.
Several economic policies adopted are to serve as shocks in the face of global financial concerns and to sustain Nigeria's position as the leading frontier market in Africa. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele made this point while addressing a cross-section of foreign investors on opportunities that abound in Nigeria's economy. Abolade Salami reports.
Nigeria's economy, no doubt, has had to go through some tough terrain in recent time in our journey to a sustainable and viable market space for both foreign and domestic business to thrive. As the largest economy in Africa, Nigeria lodged a 3.54% economic growth rate in real terms during the second quarter of 2022. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele, at a side event at the annual meetings, reiterated that since the nation's economy exited recession in 2016, concentration has solely been on sustainable economic performance and viable business environments.
As you continue to think about growth opportunities in the world and you are looking at Africa, naturally you will have to think about some of the big economies in Africa. Nigeria, Angola, South Africa, Egypt are economies that you will need to think about. And I dare say that these economies hold strong opportunities, with opportunities for high yield and profitable projects. And I can only seize this opportunity to encourage, let's give the support to Nigeria.
Investors at the gathering were admonished to utilize the numerous business opportunities that have led to continuous positive performance in the country.
Emerging markets have been seen to be the market generating the global growth. So it tells us that this is where the market is. This is where we need the investors.
International investment is central for this effort and absolutely vital to its success.
Going by the World Bank report that showed emerging markets growing by 7% this year, as against 3% for advanced markets, investors were charged to take advantage of this and invest in Nigeria. From Washington, D.C., Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Let's now tell you that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says it will strengthen collaboration with stakeholders in mitigating crude oil theft and infractions on its pipelines. The takeaway from an inspection visit to an illegal connection point on the 48-inch Forcados crude oil export line in Delta State is that it cannot be business as usual. We'll bring you details of that report later. Now, a Nigerian tech startup that emerged a global best in mobility and logistics category at the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition competition in Dubai says the stage is set for Nigerian digital technology innovators to show their capabilities globally. ICT correspondent Chimdimma Ndubisi reports that high-tech companies have acknowledged the robust skills, investment opportunities, and notable need-solving inventions that abound in Africa's digital technology ecosystem.
This is the Dubai World Trade Center, hosting the largest tech show in the world. It is a digital technology marketplace of endless possibilities. Here, innovations meet markets. North Star Supernova Challenge Pit competition is widely contested here. Startups from more than 100 countries showcase latest trends in metaverse, quantum and cloud computing, fifth generation network, artificial intelligence,
it's nice to meet you, Adam.
And future mobility. Ultimately, Sharp, our Nigerian tech logistics startup and same-day delivery with its mobile application, beat Datums of India to win the global prize for mobility and logistics innovation category, bagging a cash prize of $8,000. An elected Minister of Communications and Digital Economy is proud as leader of Nigerian delegation.
Semi-finals, we had 9 startups, and at the final, we had 2 startups, and we have 1 winner. So it's a clear indication that we are doing well out of over 190 countries and over 800 entries.
It's a very tough one, but of course it shows that there is room for African startups to play on a global stage.
Startups that didn't make it to the victory list still end up clinching partnership deals or outright buyout, as is the case with First Founders that sealed a $10 million partnership deal. For the Director General, NITDA, who had received the Most Valued Partnership Award.
This year we have a wide visibility about Nigerian technologies. GITEX, they said they want to start going to Africa. They are starting with Morocco. They want also come to Nigeria.
As Nigeria signs off on this excellent note at the GITEX Global 2022, the popular opinion is that this edition is the nation's best outing. From Dubai, Chimdimma Ndubisi, NTA News.
And still talking economy, the Central Bank of Nigeria is exploring avenues to promote the adoption of the e-Naira in a bid to ease transaction and boost financial inclusion. Musa Abubakar reports that one of the ways the Apex Bank is targeting this is through onboarding of commercial tricycle riders on e-Naira platform in Abuja.
Algassan Isa Mohammed is a commercial tricycle rider trying to activate the e-Naira application on his phone with the help of an e-Naira agent. He's now done with the process and ready for customers who can pay for Keke fare using e-Naira wallet.
The change scarcity we are experiencing today is because of the money CBN is spending in printing the Naira note, which they now think is not necessary.
To reduce the fight with the passenger because of change. Change can cause so many fight with the passenger.
This e-Naira campaign by the Central Bank of Nigeria, in collaboration with Busy Mobile Cashless Consultant, is to get as many commercial tricycle riders as possible to take advantage of using the e-Naira to facilitate transaction with ease.
We're engaging the Keke Napep community so that we can educate them on what e-Naira is, how they can be registered onto the platform, which we call onboarding, how they can use the platform, how they can use it for exchange.
A customer have 5% subsidy. If you are to pay 100 Naira for Keke Napep, the CBN will give you subsidy of 5%. At the same time, the Keke Napep rider will also have instant of 5% discount on the 100 Naira.
The e-Naira adoption campaign targets to bring on board all micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in the country. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government is working on a proposal to ban the purchase of gold and other solid mineral products at the mining site. Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, Bamishola Saraki, stated this at the Nigerian Society of Mining Engineers Conference in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Mining, a lucrative business for the private sector, a major target for the government to diversify the economy. Here lies the conflict of interest. Sustainability is the goal for the government, but this is not in the businessman's agenda.
The available record of about 1,700 abandoned mine sites as of 2020, with over 700 in Plateau State alone, speaks volumes about sustainable mining in Nigeria. There are equally reports on sustainable mining operations in Osun, Zamfara, and other states of the Federation.
With such number of abandoned mining sites, serving as death traps left in the forest, and the best way to explore the industry in favor of the government is to come up with some policies.
We are currently considering the proposal for a ban on direct mineral purchase from the mine to promote patronage for the registered mineral buying centers.
Bold and timely step, but the Society of Mining Engineers need more drastic measures and their involvement in the crusade.
NSC is making a clearer call on government to employ cost-led laws, enforcing professionalism in the mining sector. Mining leases shall not be granted to any company unless the company has employed a person who possesses adequate qualifications and experience in mining.
What the law says a license will not and cannot be granted until you have a registered COMEC member who is a professional.
Different approaches, looking for a common solution. So debates on the Sustainable Mining Conference focuses on sanitizing the industry that is next to crude oil in the nation's revenue ranking. Mie Ogide, NTA News.
And to security matters now, where the Martin Luther Agwai Leadership and Peacekeeping Center is upscaling the capacity of armed forces personnel from African countries on countering piracy to consolidate on recent achievements, which has translated in a decrease in recorded cases of sea piracy in the Gulf of Guinea in the last 6 months. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The Gulf of Guinea, previously a notorious maritime domain due to piracy, is currently experiencing relative peace thanks to regional cooperation. This training by the Martin Luther Agwai Leadership and Peacekeeping Center is meant to consolidate on these achievements.
The counter-piracy project, which is being implemented by the center, will assist the Gulf of Guinea region to further strengthen their institutional effectiveness, inclusiveness, accountability.
This project is one of the Japan's contribution to capacity building, and we hope that the knowledge acquired by the 30 trainees will improve safety in the Gulf of Guinea.
It brings together African Armed Forces personnel to participate in Course 3 of the counter-piracy program.
I see this course as a forum designed to discuss ways to stem the tide of attacks,
During this period of your training, participants will be required to bring their various experiences, competencies, and expertise to bear.
The dynamics of crime requires updating of skills, and this training is to fill the gap in tackling piracy. But the stakes are higher as consolidating on the peace is challenging, requiring constant surveillance and joint operations. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
You're watching Weekend File on the NTA. Let's go on break. Welcome back to Weekend File. To help improve the living standard of persons living with disability, especially women, the National Center for Women Development is mainstreaming vulnerable individuals in the economic development of Nigeria by training more than 90 females with disability in different ICT skills. Ngozi Technique reports.
Despite government efforts in capturing this set of individuals in the economic planning of the nation, it seems there is still more to be done in the social investment initiative. Bridging this gap is why National Center for Women Development is taking the bull by the horn by engaging more than 90 women and girls on intensive information communication technology skills.
Since the world is going digital, they have trained us to be a digital women. She has stood her ground to ensure that all women are trained to compete favorably on the socioeconomic front.
The Director General of NCWD commends the resilience and determination exhibited by the trainees.
The training is aimed at exposing the participants to various information and communication technologies applications, tools, and techniques with significant impact.
With technology playing a role in all kinds of careers, from art and history to law, making tech skills accessible to women/girls will set them up for economic independence.
Each of the participants given a laptop among other startup kits. In Abuja, Ngozi Technique, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has extended warm felicitations to physically challenged persons, particularly the visually impaired in Nigeria, as the world marks the 2022 White Cane Safety Day. The day raises awareness on the role of the white cane as a mobility tool for the visually impaired, with various activities to highlight its importance. Now, succor will soon come the way of flood victims in the 4 affected local government areas of the state, with the visit of the State Task Force on the Management of Flood to the areas. Ogedi Iyekwere reports that the task force members were led by its chairman, Dr. George Nweke, to some affected communities in Ahoda East, Ahoda West, and Obwa Ebwema Ndoni local government areas of the state.
By the State Task Force on the Management of Flood to the affected local government areas is to carry out an on-the-spot assessment of the effects of flood in the areas, interface with the victims for proper profiling and statistics. Chairman, Rivers State Task Force on the Management of Flood, Dr. George Nweke, empathized with the people and assured them that the state government is doing all within its powers to bring succor their way. Secretary of the Task Force, Inimi Agma, acknowledged that the situation is pathetic.
I want to assure the people of this area that Excellency is on top of the game. He's about 5 steps ahead because I've made provision for all that is needed to bring succor to these people.
I can tell you that it's impossible to drive on this road, and what we see here, it's very, very devastating. This committee will do all it can do to ensure that all the communities are reached.
Chairman of Ahoda West Local Government Area, Hope Ikiriko, and his Ahoda East counterpart, Benjamin Eke, as well as some community leaders, thanked the state government for the speedy intervention.
I'm very grateful because this intervention is timely.
The whole of my kingdom, 36 communities and above, are under water.
The task force members were also in Oba Ebema Ndoni local government area, where they assured the victims of immediate response to their needs. The chairman revealed that the State Flood Management Task Force will be interfacing with the chairman of the affected local government area and other stakeholders to brainstorm on how best to solve the challenges. Ogedi Iyekwere, NTA News.
And still in Rivers State, the east-west road is completely cut off at Ahoda. To connect Bayelsa State from that section, passengers wade through a pool of high-current flood water that is said to have drowned a few people. Onengia Fineface reports.
It all begins at Imbiama, from where passengers climb onto tippers on the road to Ahoda. The snow is
coming from Indiana, I'm going to Port Harcourt. There is no vehicle. It is only the truck that is free that will get to enter.
They are moving with fear because if anything happens, mostly the part of the road that collapse, if we mistakenly get into it, I believe there is none of us that can survive.
The place is tight. The vehicle has a lot of smoke. The vehicle is not good for a place for human being to travel. We need to use bus, not a tipper that is carrying sand.
Many trucks that had gone before are stuck in the flood. Several passengers embark on the wet, cold and distant journey on foot. Eventually, even the tipper can go no further. Men, women, children and livestock prepare for the worst part of the journey, where a strong tide takes the place of the road.
Even the lane that we were using before is now broken and now causing further hardship to the people. Now we have gotten to this level. Some people are even fainting on the road. Some people are sinking.
It is best described as a death walk. I took the death walk as well to tell this story of flood impact, but it is one risk too many and best avoided. Onengia Fineface, NTA News.
Flood everywhere. Now, President Xi Jinping of China has commiserated with President Muhammadu Buhari on the recent boat mishap in Umunakwo, Owaru, Anambra State, where 40 people reportedly lost their lives. A statement by Special Advisor to President Buhari on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, indicates that the Chinese leader also extended China's deepest condolences to the victims and their families. Let's go on another break on Weekend File. Thank you for staying with us. The Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme of the federal government has continued to receive positive reviews from economic analysts for its impact on the economy. Musa Abubakar has details of how the scheme is addressing the infrastructural gap in Nigeria.
Is work in progress on another road construction project under the Road Infrastructure Credit Scheme of the federal government. Introduced by the Buhari administration through Executive Order 007, participants of the scheme are entitled to tax credits against their future company income tax to the tune of the project cost incurred in the construction or refurbishment of the eligible roads.
One of the innovations in order to bring the high quality of project management that is available in the private sector, and so the government came up with this scheme.
The Public-Private Partnership Intervention Scheme enables the federal government to leverage private sector capital and efficiency for the construction, refurbishment, and maintenance of road infrastructure in Nigeria.
This introduction with this initiative of tax for infrastructure, if it is properly monitored, it will benefit the government and the people of the country. Why? Because the decay infrastructure can be allocated to companies where they are.
NNPC is amongst companies taking advantage of the scheme. The company, through its subsidiary, is investing in about 1,824 kilometers of roads across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. 21 critical roads in total across the country. Other companies participating in the scheme are MTN, Transcorp Group, Access Bank, BUA, and Dangote.
MTN Nigeria PLC, the telecommunication company, to to take over and complete the ongoing Enugu-Onitsha Expressway. That road is 110 kilometers, which is being dualized.
Many believe is a win-win for public and private sectors, with emphasis on complementing efforts in bridging infrastructural deficit.
It has to be monitored. Somebody cannot just come and say, we have spent 10 billion naira on the road infrastructure or on this port or on this, and there is nothing to show for it.
More and more companies are set to indicate interest as the Federal Inland Revenue Service continue to explore alternative source of revenue. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The newly reconstructed Apapa Oshodi-Oroshoki Expressway, undertaken by Dangote Group, is a beneficiary of the Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Policy of the federal government. Adeni Taiwo takes us through the success story.
It is now smooth ride all the way on the 35-kilometer Apapa Oshodi-Oroshoki Expressway, save for some few kilometers in Section 2, still under construction. Prior to 2019, when reconstruction work started, the picture was a lot different. The highway, which was built between 1975 and 1979 as a major route to the nation's ports, and the Muritala Mohammed International Airport, had fallen into disrepair due to many years of neglect.
Some years back, you even see trucks were parked on those bridges everywhere. Jam Park. A lot of companies were moving out of Apapa because there was no access.
Its final reconstruction work started in 2019 when Dangote Group signed an agreement with the federal government to fund the project under the tax credit scheme.
And that's why you're able to see the sections 1, 3, and 4 completed within 2 years. Ordinarily, it were to be the normal budgetary cycle, it might take another 15 years to fix it. So it's a win-win situation. With these activities improved within the port area.
When fully completed, the project is expected to last about 40 years. This confidence is built around new cement technology, which guarantees durability.
The concrete pavement can sustain much more load.
Areas that are waterlogged, it's better we use a concrete pavement, and it makes it longer. And in the maintenance aspect of it, it is easier because we have almost all the materials here.
Lagos State, and indeed the entire country, will reap similar dividends of the tax credit policy in other parts of the state, including Lekki Expressway, as well as Agbara Badagry International Corridor, where the scheme is also being deployed. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Let's now bring in Iro Ubai, Director Technical, Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRX, for our discussion tonight. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme. It seems to have made, serious impact upon its mandate. Now, how feasible has it been since 2019?
Yeah, like the Executive Orders 007 as it's called, came into effect in 2019. A lot of milestones have been achieved. Like you recall, the Opobo Bonny Kane Road that connects Port Harcourt mainland to Bonny Island is nearing completion. It's being handled by Nigerian LNG, and the route is advancing very well. Like I already mentioned, the Apapa Oshodi Lagos Way Expressway in Lagos is also under credit infrastructure and is being handled. A lot of money has already been paid. A lot of credit has been given to Dangote. That one is handled by Dangote Group, and Dangote is also handling the Obajana Kaba Road. And you have just heard the Minister of Works saying that Enugu on the Shah have been taken over by MTN. A lot of companies like Access Bank are also involved. And as soon as, there is a committee headed by the Minister of Finance, assisted by Minister of Works, that first of all review the cost of the project before the cost is determined, plus of course what we call uplift margin, which is the central bank NPR rate plus 2% that is used to determine the cost. And once it is determined, the committee approves, and then FRS will raise the credit certificate. I want to believe to say that it is an innovation introduced by the federal government that is helping to relieve the government of the huge cost of construction, because it's a PPP, private partnership, that they will incur the cost once the application is approved, and then they determine the cost. They are the one that will spend the money. So the problem we used to have in construction used to be the problem of funding, whereby budget allocation is made every year. Sometimes, if you follow the allocation, the budget allocation, it may take about 40-30 years to conclude the road. So with the coming into effect of these private companies, they will spend their money and then they will recover it by way of tax credits, which they used to pay their company income tax. So it's a good development, and it's doing very well, and it's helping government. A lot of roads are being refurbished and being constructed nationwide across all the regions of the country. So I would say that the introduction of the scheme is a welcome development, and it's helped to achieve, it has achieved its aim, and more companies are taking the advantage of it to come to participate.
Of course, we can see that happening at the moment, but then tell us about monitoring the scheme itself in terms of monitoring the contractors, what they do at site, and how monies are disbursed and then are utilized at the end of the day. Now that's coming from FIRS now.
Yeah, you know that like this is a committee that is handling the project. In that committee, you have the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Works that we all know is in charge of works, and you also have the FIRS, you have the SIC, you have the Budget Office, and you also have Bureau for Statistics. So you have a lot of experts, and you don't just dish out money to them. There's what you call MINSTEM, Interim Certificate of Completion. They have the quantity surveyors to the Minister of Finance and Works, and other supervisors, other engineers and quantity surveyors that determine the cost as the project is going. We don't just allow MTN, LNG, Dangote, the luxury to determine and cost whatever. At the end of it, the cost will be submitted to the committee for scrutiny. It is the committee that scrutinizes every bit of cost before approval is given. So it's not just that. And it's only when the approval, the committee made up of all these agencies and experts approved the cost, that FIRS will come in to issue the credit certificate.
Thank you for that submissions. We'll talk some more right after the break. Of course, you're watching Weekend File on the NTA. The news of the total takeover of work on the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway by telecommunications giant MTN under the tax credit scheme is a relief to motorists and other road users. Mena Okobasi brings us a situation report on the expressway, which is a major link to various states of the country.
The Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme of the federal government has been adjudged one of the best decisions made for intervention, construction, refurbishment and maintenance of critical roads as observed by the Executive Order 7.
That the Southeast benefited. If we are looking at that all the roads will be motorable, there will be light, there will be everything that we need. It is when you pay your taxes without compulsion, then you will have a voice.
The 9th mile portion of the Enugu-Onitsha Dual Carriage Expressway, though yet to be completed, is already open for use to reduce the hardship faced by motorists. For the people of Ezago community, however, the story is different, as villagers lament difficulty experienced in moving their farm produce as an agrarian society.
We cry for this road. There's no people where one sent a car for me because there's no road. Because you get many accidents here. There's many accidents because of bad road. If you rain forest time, no road here. We are doing farm. When you are doing farm finish, carry come market, nobody will buy it. Because if a better road, motor will come buy market.
Motorists also decry the state of the Enugu-Amansi-Onitsha road, saying it has dealt blows on their finances as their vehicles suffer wear and tear constantly.
The road is too bad. Like Amansi side, you can't pass there. I've got a towing van more than 3 times. Got the other board. I don't buy this one. It's not less than 2 weeks now.
Though efforts by NTA news crew to reach the controller of Federal Ministry of Works in Enugu State and the RCC contractors handling the road project proved abortive, residents and road users, however, call on the telecommunications giant MTN, who are yet to mobilize the site and other stakeholders to expedite action on the road to reduce carnage. In Enugu, Mina Adobe Kobasi, NTA News.
The Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme is already impacting on several communities in Rivers State, with 2 of the road projects at various stages of completion. Emmanuel Lener brings us an update on these projects.
This is the 37.9 kilometer Bodo-Boni Road. It is one of the significant projects undertaken by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration in the south of the Niger. The road crosses several kilometers of swamp with about 17 large and small bridges, some of which have been completed, with others at various stages of completion. The road project, which was impeded by initial funding challenges, is progressing steadily with 2023 completion deadline. The road project, which will go up over 120 billion naira, is one of the federal government's road infrastructure tax credit scheme. It is undertaken by the NLNG, Bonny.
I can tell you that even though the road is not completed yet, business concerns are even coming in daily because it's easier to get into Bonny through that road.
One other significant road infrastructure project being constructed under the road infrastructure tax credit scheme in the state is the Oyego Miriwai Afam Road, constructed by the Transcorp Group. To many, the progress recorded since the construction of these roads has been massive, thanks to the tax credit initiative.
Our budget has increased high up there. So there is just no way you expect government can do it alone. In the world over, everything is done in partnership. Economically, that decision is one of the best they have taken.
Many believe the tax credit initiative will, apart from enhancing development projects, will also reduce the agitation by host communities over failure by multinational corporations to develop their host communities.
And when these taxes are paid to the federal coffers, nobody knows how they are spent. You don't even know what is the money is being put into. Instead of them getting the money, let them give them a job using the same amount of money they ought to pay to federal government.
So now the companies in where they are working show that they are working, and people will see them on site that they are the ones, involved in this social amenities that involve the environment.
The 2 projects, when completed, is a testament to the success of the road infrastructure tax credit scheme initiated by the President Buhari-led administration. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
All right, let's quickly conclude our discussion with Sir Iro Obai, Director of Technical FIRX. Now, a lot of people are in tune with the outcome of the scheme at the moment, but then sustaining it, the partnership, what are those things that we need to look at? What must be done for it to be sustained?
Yeah, one of the basic things that need to be looked at, but even the order himself specified that once the cost is determined by the committee and approved, the participant, the company should be paid within 14 days. And we at FIRS are ensuring that every company, every participant that completes and receive approval from the committee gets the credit certificate immediately for it to be used to pay its company income tax. For instance, the case of the Port Harcourt, the River State have just shown, LNG have received a lot of credit as a result of this scheme. And within this year, we have given them that 7 billion, being the cost of the first phase that they completed and approved by the committee, because every kobo that is being, every credit that is being issued is based on the report of the committee set up by the executive order, where it has been verified and vetted, and the actual cost determined, plus of course the uplift, which is MPR 14% plus 2%. So nobody's owing anybody. The people that are doing it are bringing out the money. LNG use their money to construct the road. and the federal government through FRS will reimburse them by tax credits which they used to pay their tax.
All right. Now, talking about the FIRS, that brings out this money. What is the role of the society itself in terms of taxes itself?
Yeah, the FIRS under the leadership of
because the bulk of the money is coming from tax.
Yes, under the leadership of Mohamed Nami, have done well in terms of galvanizing, sensitizing, mobilizing the public with the view to understanding and comply with their tax obligation. Because we introduced a scheme called Tax Promise Solution that have mean the deployment of technology to ensure that some of the things and information that we were not able to see manually, we are doing them automatically. And with auto process, we have almost doubled our collection process. The tax revenue collected last year by FIRS, not the NAMI administration, was 6.4 trillion naira.
And counting.
In fact, and counting. It was the best and the highest ever from the history of FIRS. And this year, I'm very sure that we are going to break the record again, because the target given to FRS is about 10.4 trillion.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on the program tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir Iro Ubai. We've been talking with Sir Iro Ubai, Director of Technical, Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. And of course, next is Sports Update.
With an alleged controversial penalty, Esperance of Tunisia defeated Plateau United via lone goal in the second leg of the first round of the CAF Champions League. The team qualified for the group stage on a 2-2 scoreline aggregate. And from India, the Flamingos are perfecting strategy to qualify for the quarterfinal of the ongoing World Cup at date against Chile.
Because a step into the next stage is a step out of the tournament. So you have to be very mindful of that and then approach the game with caution.
In the English Premier League, Leicester City missed the chance of moving out of relegation zone with a barren home draw in favour of Crystal Palace. Fulham and Bournemouth settled their affairs 2 goals apiece, while Wolverhampton Wanderers pipped Nottingham Forest via a lone goal. And in handball, Femi Johnson reports that Bendel Dynamos have emerged overall champions of the 2022 National Division 1 Handball League in the male category played in Benin. Bendel Dynamos won all their 4 matches to garner 12 points, leading Correctional Boys Abuja, while Delta Force finished 3rd. Bayelsa Queens led in the female category, followed by Delta Queens and Abia Valiant. The 2022 edition of National Anti-Corruption Marathon held in Abuja Saturday, with Shehu Muhazu clocking 1 hour 7 minutes and 49 seconds to win the men's race, followed by Francis James in the second position in a time return of 1 hour 8 minutes 22 seconds. Rose Akusu of Plateau State won the female race in 1 hour 20 seconds. The 21-kilometer marathon is an avenue of using sports to sensitize the public on the inherent dangers of corruption to nationhood.
We are getting them to teach them that corruption is not right. Join hand with us in fighting the menace.
In motorsport, the 3-day karting slalom to encourage grassroots motorsports participation at elementary and high schools in Abuja enters day 2 with students of the secondary schools showing high level of interest learning the sports.
Karting is something I think I'm very prepared for.
This experience now, you can drive a kart and you will not have any difficulty driving it, and with this, you can go far in life.
With sports updates, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
Now, Lydia Sampson's report on NNPC's visits to the pipelines is now ready. Lydia.
It's an illegal infraction where we are standing right on 48-inch Focado's export pipeline.
Pipeline vandalism and infractions on petroleum and crude oil pipelines remain a major challenge with ripple effects on production, output, and the economy. Though infractions are detected through drop in volumes, some are buried in deep waters. One of such is an infraction on the 48-inch Focado's crude oil export line hidden under muddy waters and just discovered through stakeholder collaboration. Zakaria Budunwara, General Manager, Joint Venture Operations, NAPIM, says NNPC Limited is committed to bringing an end to the crude oil theft menace, as well as stability to host communities.
It is very massive.
unquantifiable quantity because the pipe is long, is over 4 kilometers, in fact, about 5 kilometers long. So there could be a lot of crude still on that particular line. And they did it because they didn't want to take the costs, bear the cost of laying pipelines in the ocean to the area, so they used an existing line. That's what they did.
All this we are doing to ensure and also assure Nigerians that we are doing something to curb this menace of crude oil theft. We know the direct impact it has on the revenue, we all know, but especially on the people in the host communities and the environment. No one can do it alone. We can all do it together to achieve our desired objective.
The visit and unearthing, they say, is a further demonstration of an excellent collaborative effort by NNPC Limited and its stakeholders.
The massive illegal connection and the walk through the connection route to the open sea where we are, it's a journey that cannot be imagined. And you begin to wonder how criminal-minded people take time to do this just to continue to perpetrate economic sabotage and destroy the nation.
From Forcados in Delta State, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's now take a look at tomorrow's weather.
Hello and welcome to Sunday's weather forecast. With the northeasterly winds gradually moving across the northern region, we expect sunny conditions to prevail across the north. Might see some thunderstorms to parts of Kogi, Nasarawa, Oyo, Osun, Imo, and parts of Enugu State, including some parts of Lagos, Bayelsa, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers. Moving ahead into the afternoon, rain chances at most parts of the southern region, including Kogi, Kwara, the FCT, Plateau, and parts of Taraba State. Up next is the air quality index and the weather forecast across some selected cities. I am Akami Samada.
And that concludes Weekend File on the NTA tonight. Thanks so much for watching, and do remember to join the NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. I am Kene Imba Abodike. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and good night.